Walking up the AT this morning. It is Wednesday and I'm gonna go to a bird banding event. Thanks for coming with me. You can sort of see it maybe. So the veery was one of the birds I got to see today, and the wood thrush was another one that I got to see today. The birds are captured in mist nets, and I don't know if you could actually see the net in the other part of the video. They're super fine. The nets are monitored, and when a bird flies into one and gets entangled, it's quickly captured, gently put into a paper bag, brought to the banding station. The bird is then weighed and measured. If they're able to identify the age of the bird, that's indicated. They check to see the bird's health condition, fat content, because the bird has a long flight to go through in order to reach its wintering habitat. And then a band is placed on it, and the bands are recorded. If you ever find a bird that's been banded, you can go on a website, and I'll include that at the bottom of this video in the show more area. You can go and enter the band number and get information about what banding station had banded that bird initially. This is scientific information. This has been going on for years and years. The bands themselves, hopefully you could see how tiny the hummingbird bands were. This information, it's not electronic. It's a metal, very lightweight metal tag. It does not bother the bird's leg. Bird legs develop to full size within the first part of the bird's life. So banding them at this stage, the legs are not going to get any bigger. So there's no endangerment to the bird. All the birds are handled with the utmost care. The people who are doing this have a deep love and appreciation for their winged friends, and it was such a delight to be there this morning and witness the operation going on. 2 years ago, I had been hiking the AT and came through there, and I saw this, but I didn't see any of the people, didn't know where the tables were set up or anything, and we were kind of pressing along on our hikes, so I didn't stop, but it was a real treat to be there today. On the Audubon bird site, they had information regarding the mist net because they have been tested for safety for the birds, so they are not injured in any way and there's no mortality for any bird flying into the net. And this is a tool for ornithologists and folks who are doing the scientific study. This is not something that anybody uses in their backyard. Just saying, this is a tool used for this kind of survey work. Anyway, let's go on to the next part of the video. The Tennessee Warbler was another one of the birds we all enjoyed seeing, and the color of those feathers, this this book doesn't really capture the exquisiteness. They really are feathered gems. I wanted to briefly mention about the lights out, which is one of the things, they talked about how we can help the migrating birds. There's a website called Birdcast, and I'm going to put a link to that below this video as well. And it talks about turning out the lights from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. during the migratory months. So in the spring, that would be April and May, and then in the autumn, it would be August through usually the first part of October. And by turning the lights out, it creates a much better environment for the birds who are migrating at night. And hopefully you could see those maps and also go on those sites as well. It's remarkable that they can be tracked using the weather radar. But then the ornithology bird sites also have the tracking to see where the migrating birds are actually located. The miracles that happen all around us. Okay, let me show you the next part. Top of the world. So that was the bird, a non-breeding adult that you just saw on his hand, and it took off. These birds are migrating at night. The weather radar has been able to pick up the large flocks of migrating birds, and then they come into an area like I was privileged to be at today for the bird banding station. They come into one of those areas and they find a safe place to settle in. And then the next morning they begin moving around a little bit, foraging for insects and berries and water, and refueling themselves. Many of these birds are breeding in Canada and the upper US states, and then they're traveling to Central and South America for the winter. So they have a really long way to go. And so I asked, are there any things we can do as humans to help them during this time of year whilst they're migrating? One of the things we can do is turn off the outside lights at night because they're migrating at night, and the lights in urban and city areas can be very distracting for them. Additionally, leaving wild areas in our yards, if you're farming, leaving wild hedgerows for them, it provides a safe place for them to rest. And also there's going to be food for them, insects and berries. They need this. It's a long flight to get to where they're going for the winter. And we really want them to make it so that they will come back in the spring and we can enjoy their beautiful songs again. I hope you had fun on my little adventure today, and I will see you in the next video. Till then. Just briefly, I thought I'd mention two books that if you're choosing to landscape your property or change some landscaping to support migratory birds and other wildlife, these are two books that could be helpful to you. One of them, Bringing Nature Home, by Douglas Ptolemy, and like just look at this one page. Right here, he's talking about trees. Now this ties into the project that Russ is doing. Look at that, oak trees, species supported, 534 types of creatures use oak as their home. I mean, this is incredible. So this book goes into a lot of detail about the plants, about the insects that are going to be there. And those insects are food for the migratory birds and the birds that stay in our yards all year long. So this is one book. And the other one specifically is Gardening for Bird Watchers. And this book has the actual garden plans in it, and the list of species and what they attract and which birds will be coming to your yard based on the plants that you're choosing to put in there relative to your location in the United States. And if you're watching me from somewhere across the pond, then obviously you have some different plants. But again, the native species are what's going to have the most impact for the creatures that live there. Okay, I really hope this video was helpful for y'all. Please put your questions and comments below, and yeah, see you in the next one. Till then.